Well, I think this is another one that we've got to just in time. Not sure how much more of this it could have taken. Pretty much every scrap of paint's gone, especially on the lower half. Lower half's meant to be blue. But it's managed to not actually get damaged, not damaged properly, apart from I think there's a bent axle and a couple of the wheels look a bit bitten, but I actually quite like how it looks like this, a sort of beat up look. But I mean, we've recorded this for posterity now. We'll always have this footage of what it looked like before, so may as well give it a bit of a transformation. Time to get it opened up and get on with it, I think. The 2 rivets on the base are usually quite easy on old Matchboxes. They don't take a lot of drilling. Not like modern Hot Wheels where you're there forever. It feels like forever drilling those open. It's like a lot of 80s Matchboxes, it's put together in like a bit of a sandwich. It's quite elaborate, really. You've got the bottom half, then you've got that plastic, the black plastic layer to represent the rubbing strips in the bumper. That's not really something you get these days. And then separate little rear light unit, which I showed it in and then off because I've seen people forget to take that out before they've put the body in the stripper. And then it's 50-50 as to whether you ever see it again. So we'll start with the plastic window unit. It's pretty scratched up, so using 1000 grit just to get rid of the scratches. So it will make it quite cloudy. So it's gonna kind of look worse before it gets better. But it's the same procedure that I tend to use for all glass units and the bodies. I don't use any liquid polish whatsoever. See, it's come out like that just by going down through the different grits of sanding pad, going from maybe, I don't know, well, I do know, going from 1000 grit down to roughly 9,000, maybe 10,000 grit as the very last one. The interior is immaculate because it's just been sealed up inside that windowless sort of glass unit all the car's life, so that doesn't need anything doing to it. This looks a little bit, well, I don't know, bitten or ran into skirting boards or whatever, the plastic trim that goes all the way around, so we're just going to sand the edges of that. Same principle, same thing that we did with the glass unit, just keep going down and down through the grades until you get to sort of the 9,000 grit one, which is pretty much just polishing the plastic, but that's exactly what's happening. That's what gets it back to looking like new or nearly new. So I'm proudly demonstrating the result here. I know it doesn't, you can see, look, if you look in the light, you can see the plastic is actually quite shiny now. It still needs cleaning up and what have you. But in a second, I briefly reunite it back with the body shell just so you can see the difference that it's made on the car. So there's the glass. The glass looks pretty much like new. And there's the plastic strip. So we've just got the body to do now, really. The wheels, I didn't even show the wheels because there's nothing really to show. 3 of them ended up needing to be replaced. So one of them I just very, very slightly touched it in. And the other 3 I replaced with some better ones that I had because they were just too bitten. This is an interesting bit. There's actually some marring in the casting. So I'm mirror polishing this again, like I do with a lot, like I've done with quite a few of them lately. I don't show anything with the lower half because that's just a straightforward mirror polish. It all goes absolutely swimmingly with that one. And I have got a separate video on mirror polishing if you want to know more in detail. But what's not on that video is this, when you get a little bit of marring in the casting. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it is there. Now, if I was using normal paint, it wouldn't be a problem. You could just, the marring is so, in terms of the actual measurements of how deep the marring is, it's so microscopically tiny that if you use normal paint, it'd just fill all that in. The naked eye would not detect anything. I mean, the manufacturer's paint that was still there at the start, that didn't betray any marring. I only found out about it when we got to this stage. But because I'm using transparent paint, it will show up, so it's got to go. So I've tried the 1500 grit little sanding fingerboard thing, and that's not really got it, so I'm trying some 600 grit now. Obviously, you've got to be careful. You don't want to go down you don't want to work away at this too much because you don't want to start actually getting rid of the details in the casting. But anyway, the wire wool got it in the end, and there was some on the back as well and some on the roof. It wasn't just on the front. But we've got rid of all that now, and then I'm just going with a scalpel blade, just getting rid of a couple of bits of paint that was still in the casting lines that were there. So that should be all right now. So now you just work your way back up. So yeah, back onto the 1500 grit board, because that'll get it back up to that level of shine, and then we can just keep going and get the whole thing. There we go, like that, just mirror polished in the usual way. So we'll get ourselves set up outside, and it's the usual nail bar airbrush that we're using for the we're going to do this transparent blue. I'm kind of inverting the original colour scheme, because you probably couldn't really tell, but originally the bottom half of that, it was silver top half over a blue bottom half. And these Rover Sterlings, they tend to come in, I think the original one that they launched it in was red, like a really nice sort of crimsony red metallic over a metallic grey. It did look great actually. And then they did a recolour which was silver over blue, which is a bit more unusual. You don't really see it that way around in real life, but it did look nice, but not this one, because all the blue had gone. I just thought it'd be a bit of fun just to invert it, have it blue over silver instead. I'm not doing anything else to it though. Again, I'm trying to keep it like it was at the factory. I'm not adding any extra details or anything like that. I mean, I've had to replace 3 of the wheels, but obviously they're just like for like with the originals. I don't think there's many wheels you can put on one of these that will really suit it better than the originals, because the Matchbox 8 holes did look great anyway on just about anything, and they really did suit this. So yeah, as I went into with the last video with the clipper, you've got to be careful when you're using blue sort of Spectraflame type paints. I know I seem to be crazily close there, but don't forget this is a nail bar airbrush. I mean, if you're airbrushing somebody's nails, they don't want to be sat there in a hazmat suit with this massive cloud of paint going all over them. It's going to be something that you put on quite close and quite direct. The settings aren't much different to how they were when I first got this thing in the post, and it suits this size, this scale of work, because it's like I said in another video. It's like having a little tiny shrunken person with a spray gun just spraying a car. It's spraying the car. But just remember, like I said last time with the clipper, when you're doing blue, thin coats, and check it obsessively as you're going along. And the second it looks like there's enough paint on there, stop, because it's so easy to keep going. With blue being a little bit more cloudy than red when it comes to the transparent paints, it's very, very easy to put too much on, and then you've mirror polished it pointlessly, because before you know it, you've just got an opaque blue. So I was just doing the headlights there. I was doing the headlights exactly as they were originally, because they did that at the factory, just highlighted the headlights just in silver. So it's just a case of very carefully dabbing tiny little dabs from like a very fine point silver pen to gradually fill up the area that needs to be silver for the headlights. That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be, if you try and do it. I know I only showed the last few seconds of me doing it. I'd probably been doing that for like a full 2 minutes per headlight, but that's the only way to do it, unless you want it to all be coming outside of the lines and looking all blobby. And now for the pillars, the A pillars are also blacked at the factory, which is another. I mean, most people would argue that there's far easily enough detail on this from the factory to there's more than enough. So the only way to really do this is just to get a cocktail stick and get some black. It's Tamiya gloss black that I've used for this one. It might be semi-gloss black, I don't know, there's not a lot of difference. And just literally, again, like same with the headlights, but honestly, you can be a little bit more relaxed about it, because obviously you've not got the sides to worry about on the way up, but just dab it in slowly. And so this, obviously going back to the rough and ready looking specimen that we started with. I know I did completely skip the bottom half on this, but like I say, it was a textbook mirror polishing. Nothing really happened that was untoward. And there we go. So as I say, I've just done this exactly as it would have been originally. I've not added any extra details to it whatsoever. The only thing I've really changed is just the colour scheme. So I hope you like seeing that being brought back to life. Thanks for watching.